Hello everyone, hope I'm audible and visible to all of you. Chippendis, good morning Anandu, and I think you people can see me, can hear me. Let me cross check it myself. If I'm audible, visible, everything is fine. Do give me a confirmation message in the chat box. And yep. So let's start with the discussion. Hindu analysis 28th August 2025. See, today is holiday at Hindu due to Ganesh Chaturthi. So happy Ganesh Chaturthi to all of you. And so what should we do then? Should we not have any session? No. So what I did was I had a look at the previous Hindus which I did not cover. Let's say the last Sunday. Generally, what happens when you are, and we cover Hindu analysis from Monday to Saturday, right? And Sunday is skipped, and the news of Sunday is generally covered in the subsequent Monday to Saturday. But sometimes even there are certain news on, like in that Sunday edition, which we don't cover, and I have taken some news, such particular news. So again, good morning Yukta, good morning Anandu, good morning Rishi. What is the answer of this MCQ 9? Have a look at this particular MCQ related to Adi Karm Yogi initiative. We had, discussed about this yesterday, and voice, etc. So again, yeah, I can hear myself. What is the answer, Rishi? Chipandi is fast. Adi Karm Yogi initiative launched by Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment aims to create a cadre of 20 lakh change leaders for people, let's say, who are watching me for the first time. We talked about this article. I gave around 8 to 9 MCQs as classwork and 2 MCQs as homework. So this was an homework done, means given yesterday. Focuses on participatory problem solving through activities such as role play, etc. Yeah. No idea anyone, like, what is the answer? Chapandis. So it was not launched by Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. It was launched by Ministry of Tribal Affairs, MOTA. So first statement is wrong. If first is wrong, you eliminate first option, you're getting the answer. First is wrong, Rishi. So first statement is wrong. So A, C and D gone, you're left with B, 2 and 3 only. So the answer is B. This was MCQ 10. Dharti Aba Janjatiya Gram Utkarsh Abhiyan. Very good, Annie. Dharti Abha Janjatiya Gram Utkarsh Abhiyan. It was officially launched on 2nd October. Program received approval in September 2024. Dharti Abha refers to Birsa Munda, tribal freedom fighter. Which of the above statements is or are correct? Very good. Very good, Rishi. Anandu, Anusuya. So again, this was a tough question, but we had a discussion yesterday that Dharti Aba Janjatiya Gram Utkarsh Abhiyan is an umbrella scheme for tribal people, umbrella scheme. It was launched on 2nd October 2024. That is correct. First statement is correct. Now, program received Union Cabinet approval in September 2024, 1 month before it was launched. So yes, this is also correct. Dharti Aba refers to Birsa Munda. So again, an important question. All these statements are correct. The answer is D. Do revise yesterday's Hindu analysis. So ninth answer is B, 10th answer is D. Let's move on to the present. The articles which you will be seeing today, all these articles published in Hindu on 24th August 2025, because today is holiday at Hindu. So this is the issue. Like, this is the first article, awesome article. You will get a lot of perspective from, very good Anandu, a lot of perspective from this particular article related to map of Africa. I think many of you may have heard about it earlier, that Africa is not this small. When you compare Africa and have a look at this particular map or other maps, you will realize that they show it like Africa is akin to Greenland, which is so wrong. So that's why African Union, they are protesting against this particular map, which is known as Mercator map. Now we have to talk about this Mercator, whatever phonetics you want to apply, and then there will be certain words, there will be certain terms which are important from exam perspective, which we have to keep in mind. And this particular article is important from geography, from international relation perspective. So again, here they generally talk about the issue with map is what? You are representing a three-dimensional figure, on a two-dimensional, let's say you are representing it in a rectangular manner. So representing a 3D figure on a 2D projection. So obviously there will be something which will be compromised. So there are different attributes which are related to these figures, these continents. four major attributes. Two is like shape and area, then there's something called as angle. So they say that when you are focusing on the shape part, area will be compromised, which has happened in the case of Merseta map. Good morning Jivayana, good morning Bulbul, good morning Mamta. So Merseta map, what they did was they took care of the shape fact, because this was mainly used by sailors. This helped sailors a lot when they were sailing from one particular region to another. So it, this whole, the shape was, this is the correct shape of different continents. But because they were focused more on shape, Mercator map, they compromise the area part. And same will happen. And then there are different solutions. What is the way forward? And there are so many fascinating things. You will be, good morning, Shaida, Tahreen, Fatima. Okay, let's focus here. So African Union, they have backed the Correct the Map campaign, and they want to replace this Mercator projection with Equal Earth map, where you are focusing more on area rather than shape, and try to represent, correct area. Mercator map distorts Africa's size. Now, it was designed in 16th century, and still currently it is the most famous map. See this, 1569, Gerardus Mercator for navigation. So the basic purpose here is it helped a lot in sailing, but it compromised, or it gave preference to shape over area. As you can see here, severe distortion of land mass sizes. The area near poles, they look inflated. They are not that big as they look on Mercator map. As you can, if you go back and if you see, these areas near the poles, they are not this big. But because Mercator was focusing more on the shape part, he distorted the size. Not everything can be correct, because you're representing 3D figure on a 2D projection. So Africa appears nearly equal to Greenland, which is 14 times smaller, and this is a huge distortion. Europe looks as large as Africa. Tell me something, did you people have earlier heard about this thing? Did you people know about this whole, projection thing, that Africa is much bigger than it actually looks? Shaida, Mamta, Jivayan, Bulbul, Rishi, Anandu, Annie, and others. What is your view on that? Like, I think many of you may have known about it. Many of you may have heard about it. And this is not a very new thing, but the things which we are talking about, the projection, etc., that may be a new thing. So again, they have given certain example here. Canada, Russia, Northern Europe appear bloated. Africa appear, India even small appear smaller. This visual bias, why this is distorted? As we have discussed, there are different attributes. You are showing a 3D sphere onto a 2D figure, which is a rectangle. So something has to be sacrificed. Polar regions look enlarged. Very good, Anandu. And Anand is my number one fan. So four properties: area, shape, distance, direction. Not everything can be shown equally or in a correct manner. Mercator preserves shape and angle, compromised area. Equal Earth projection preserve area, but then the shapes will be compromised. The way the map is shown, the shapes will not be true. So again, something has to be compromised. Like when you are in a relationship, somebody has to compromise. Compromise has to be done. It's not like my way or highway. So distortion, may again, you can have a look at this. And because of this distortion, because Africa is looking smaller, so this is also leading to this whole colonial attitude that Greenland is same size as Africa, Africa is small. No, and this fed into the colonial attitude. Hope you can understand what they are saying. World Bank economist Raba, he said that this was a political tool. Maybe they did it intentionally, but again, it was done in 16th century. So you may feel like, no, sir, this is not exactly true. Now, African Union leaders, they are like, no, man, we want the correct size. Even though shape is compromised, we don't care, but area has to be shown in a correct manner. Now, there are some very interesting things. Alternative projection, Equal Earth by Tom Patterson. So they will preserve area, sacrifice space, or shape rather. Gall Peters preserve area, stretches. Okay, see this one, MacArthur's Universal Corrective Map of 1979. What they are doing is, this is a very interesting thing. Please try to understand me, this Universal Corrective Map. So we are seeing it from Europe perspective. Europe is in northern hemisphere. What if Australia? We see it from Australian perspective. Australia is at the top. Why not? So when Australia is at the top, we will be in the southern hemisphere. So and Australia will be in the northern hemisphere. This is universal corrective map, which is seeing world from Australia's perspective, putting Australia at the top. Why is Australia at the bottom? Why this down under stereotype? Australia, you call it down under. It's not down under. It's up under, or whatever you want to call it. Are you understanding this universal corrective map stereotype? because this is all about perspective, right? So let's put a perspective where we are putting Australia in the northern hemisphere, then everything which is there in the northern hemisphere will come into the southern hemisphere. How fascinating is this? People, are you understanding what MacArthur is saying about this universal corrective map thing? Chippendi's fast. So again, many people are supporting this African Union, not only African Union. You can understand why African Union is raising voice against it. But World Bank, they are also saying that we should be phasing out Mercator with equal earth. But this is easier said than done, because in our schools, media, you see this Mercator map is very popular. National Geographic and NASA's Goddard Institute already using equal earth. Google Map, they use 3D global option, but on your app, they have this Mercator. So it's not like everybody is using Mercator, but it's very popular, and replacing it will take some amount of time. So now, other facts. There is one keyword here in this particular article, which is African Union, founded 2002. Before that, there was an organization which was founded in 1960s. You have to write the name of that organization in the comment section if you know it. African Union replaced that. Ethiopia, Addis Ababa is the headquarter. Cool. You can have a look at all these factual information. Let's focus on some questions, which will help you in remembering whatever you have studied up until now. So which of the following statement are correct about Mercator projection? It preserves area, distorts space. It preserves local shapes and angles, but inflates land masses near the poles. Africa appears almost equal in size to Greenland, although Africa is about 14 times larger. What is your view on this? So Shaida has Akriti Pandey. Akriti, such a good name. Where are you, Pandey, from? So I think you messaged yesterday on Manipur video, right? That we should start history videos. Okay, let me sort things out. The current priority right now, everyone, is Hindu analysis. I have made a vow to myself, as I have told you people earlier only. This channel is very old. I started it when I was preparing and giving mains, but I never continued it because I was employed somewhere or the other, because I had to add education loan and all those stuff. Now I have made a promise to myself that I will continue it for next 1 year at least, and I will not miss any Hindu analysis in that period. And so the current, priority is Hindu analysis, Akriti, but I will look into that Hindu like history concern. You or somebody else, I think you only. So yes, so Mercator projection, it does not preserve area, it preserves shapes and it distorts area. So first is wrong. Again, if you know that first is wrong, you are getting the answer. It preserves local shapes and angles, but inflates land masses near the poles, and that's why Greenland appear so big, which is actually it's not. Very good. So the answer here is C2 and 3 only. Who stated it? Who are the people who stated it? Shaida tried it, Akriti tried it, Rishi, Anusuya, Mamta, Anandu, and yeah. Thank you, Shaida. Okay, so let's move on. MCQ 2. Stuart MacArthur's universal corrective map of the world is notable for. Hmm. So Stuart MacArthur, no, this is tough. This is a tough article. This is an interesting article. It is giving you so many perspective. So Stuart MacArthur's universal corrective map of the world is notable for showing the world from perspective of southern hemisphere, and first scientific attempt to correct Mercator distortion, introducing equal earth projection, being officially adopted by the union. Always choose the best option. Best option. So Anandu has given the answer for this one. Rishi has given the answer. So universal corrective map of the world is showing the world from the perspective of southern hemisphere. Very good. Next article is on the page number 11. Again, we are covering 24th August articles, which we had not covered because that was a Sunday. But there were some very important news. ISRO has already asked questions on NAVIC, which is also known as IRNSS, Indian Regional Navigational Satellite System. Earlier, when UPSC asked a PYQ on it, I'm saying ISRO UPSC PYQ has already been asked on it. At that time, there were 7 satellites in NAVIC. What is the basic purpose of NAVIC or IRNSS? It's our GPS. It's India's GPS. GPS means like we use US's GPS to know where we have to go and location, etc. This is India's GPS, but it's different from US's GPS because that is globalized in nature, and ours is regional in nature. And here, for knowing the location, specific location, we need to know the time, and for knowing the correct time, we have something known as atomic clocks. And that's what this article is talking about, and this is the important thing which we have to keep in mind. Cool. So Anandu, Shaida, Rishi, Mamta, all of you have answered the question of second. So clocks calling time on NAVIC. So now, why we are building our own regional navigation satellite system? Because USA is not bad during the time of current Trump only. During Kargil war, USA did not allow us to use their GPS. So we want some amount of security, right? Let's say we have a war, and if USA stop allowing us using GPS, we have our own NAVIC or IRNSS. And that's at that particular point of time, Israel helped us. Israel has helped us a lot. And that's why even during this Israel-Palestine scenario, Gaza crisis, you will see a lot of people in India, they are implicitly siding with Israel, even though we know whatever Israel is doing right now is nothing short of a genocide. So you can understand why we support Israel so much. And you can understand why we are also developing NAVIC, our own regional navigational satellite system. Cool. And here there is a concept of atomic clock, which talks about the time, because time is very important when it comes to precise location. And some atomic clocks are not working. We want to repair it. And that's why this particular article was in news on a particular day, that is 24th August, which we have to keep in mind. Cool. So let's again focus on whatever we are reading. Upcoming launches, ISRO plans to launch at least 3 satellites before. And again, why they're launching it? Because some of the satellites which were launched under NAVIC earlier, they have become defunct. And clock is very important. They can ask you, this atomic clocks are made of hydrogen, helium, so you have to keep in mind that these are rubidium clocks, and they are very important for accurate timing and location services. Now these IRNSS, and they are synonymous, IRNSS, NAVIC, synonymous. So they give you 2 types of services, SPS and then restricted services, RS. SPS is standard positioning services for civilian purpose. So let's say I want to use IRNSS, so I will be using SPS, and it has some amount of little bit distortion is there. But RS, which is restricted service, which is for military purpose, it's very accurate. So RS is more accurate than SPS. So again, these are some factual information which you have to keep in mind. And again, so you may be already knowing about all these things. Just for revision purpose, keep it in mind. What were we discussing earlier? So accuracy level, NAVIC satellite provides highly accurate location service for military, which is restricted services. Because obviously, when it comes to military, we want location as precise as possible. But even for civilians, that has happened in GPS also. When you follow GPS in village areas, sometimes you will end in the middle of a crop field, nowhere to go. This has happened with me. So because even GPS and IRNSS, they are slightly less accurate when it comes to civilian. SPS, standard positioning services. 9 IRNS NAVIC satellite launched since 2013. When UPSC has asked a PYQ or on IRNSS, at that time there were 7 satellites which were launched. This is your homework. You have to solve UPSC PYQ on IRNSS. Now, again, Indian IRNSS, Indian Regional Navigational Satellite System, and different countries, they have their own regional navigational satellite system, because we cannot depend on USA, as Kargil war showed us. GLONASS, Russia; Baidu, China; Galileo, EU. Now, Japan. Again, there is a homework. Japan also has a regional navigational satellite system. You have to find out the name of that particular regional navigational satellite system. That is actually very important. Okay, now let's move on to what we were discussing earlier. And just give me a second. So strategic role, again, you can read all these things. 5 NAVIC satellites are completely defunct, and that's why there has to be a replacement. Clocks, what is the purpose? Hope you understood it now. Rubidium clocks, they can ask you, they are made of which particular material. Here you have to keep it in mind. And again, replacements are NVS1, NVS2. You don't need to do PhD here. This news will come again. We'll talk about it in detail later on. Let's focus on some questions so that you can remember stuff. Again, try this question. I think I have not told you the whole information about Navik. Via this question, I will give you some more information, but try this question. Even if you're getting this question wrong, no worry, you know, but at least try this particular question. So Navik, navigation with Indian constellation, oh my god, which is also IRNSS, is designed to provide positioning services only within Indian territory up to 1500 km beyond Indian borders with two level of services, SPS and restricted service. So now I told you the third part. Third part is correct. So this thing is correct. SPS for civilian purpose, and restricted services for military purpose. So third is correct. That means two options are gone. See, you don't even need to check for second option. You just need to check whether first is correct or not. So no, it's not only within Indian territory, it is up to 1500 kilometer beyond Indian borders. So only because of only this is wrong, up to 1500 kilometers. It will cover Indian territory, but it will also cover area which is 1500 kilometer beyond Indian borders, but it's not like GPS, which is covering the whole globe. So yeah, it's regional, and that's why this is IR and SS. So the answer is C3 only, as stated by Akriti, Rishi, Annie, and Mamta. Very good. Let's move on to next article of the day. MCQ 4. Have a look at this particular question. And again, if you like this video, share it, subscribe it. We have to reach 1 lakh by August 2026. I don't know how, but you people will do it for me. 1 lakh subscriber, I mean. So, which of the following best describes the role of atomic clocks in navigation satellites like Navik to provide power backup in case of solar panel failure, to ensure accurate timing signals required for location determination, to stabilize the satellite's orientation in space, to regulate onboard thermal control systems? What do you think is the answer? Akriti has given the answer. Akriti Mamta, to ensure accurate timing signals required for location determination. Very good. So the answer is B, as stated by Akriti, Mamta, and Rishi. B is the answer. Very good, yeah. You people are so good. As I've told you, like, share, subscribe. You have to make it a movement. That will ensure I keep on coming. And again, I have left my job. My family is so much worried about me. So that's why Hindu analysis PDF I have charged, because if I don't earn anything in the longer run, obviously Hindu analysis will not continue. I have to do something else. I don't want to do that. Okay. And you can be a part of my personalized mentorship program. You can give me a call, or the process. I have told you this thing yesterday. This is the whole process, and this is a one-time contribution, 4,999 till the time you crack UPSC CSE. It can be 1 year from now, 2 years from now. Let's be realistic. Many people are like, oh my god, I will be, I'm preparing for UPSC, I'll be cracking it this year only. Yes, fine, but UPSC CSE is one of the toughest exam in the world. We have gone through that process. We made some mistake. We don't want you people to make those mistakes, and you learn more from mistakes. So be it 1 year from now, 2 year from now, 3 year from now, I will be your mentor. There is no time period here like it happens in different mentorship program. Cool, sir. You can also donate. Let's come to the next article of the day. Census 2027 to retain urban area definition of previous count in 2011. Yes, fourth is B. So now census population. Population is there in GS mains paper 1, right? So our census, which was supposed to be 2021, it will be 2027 GS mains paper 1. So here there is one thing which is very important. There will be different terms you'll be hearing: statutory towns, and then there is census town. And what is the basic difference between statutory town and census town? These things are very important. Most of the people, they don't know about it. And then let me ask you one question. What do you think is the most important prerequisite of urbanization? How do urban areas get formed? If you know it, you can post it in the comment section. If you people have followed my, history videos, so you may be able to answer this question. What is the most important prerequisite of urbanization? If urbanization happens, if cities are being formed, what is the most important criteria? If let's say Rishi, he is living in like in your UP, any particular city, Kanpur, let's say, Akriti is from Lucknow, etc. So, what is the how Lucknow was created, how Kanpur was created? Most important prerequisite for urbanization is surplus production. Surplus production means if in village areas people are not producing surplus amount, you cannot think of doing non-agricultural activities. You know, urban area means most of the people, they are involved in non-agricultural activities. Hope you can understand where we are going with this. So when we are talking about urbanization, you will see 75% of the population engaged in non-agricultural activity, or male population engaged in non-agricultural activity. So do remember this particular fact. The most important prerequisite of urbanization is surplus production. You know, Rishi, Mamta, Akriti, Anusuya, and other people, Shayada, Anandu, you could not have think about becoming a civil servant if your stomach was empty. You would have been doing agriculture. You are not doing agriculture, you are studying right now. That means we have surplus production. So that is the most important prerequisite. So now let's come to statutory town, census town. So census 2027, they will not change the definition of urban area, and for consistency, because we anyway change a lot of stuff, we need some amount of consistency in life. So now the terms statutory towns and census towns. People, did you understand the most important prerequisite of urbanization? Why it is surplus production? Chipandis fast. Most important prerequisite of urbanization. Why is it surplus production? Like, did you understand it? Or shall I say it more? Like Kareena Kapoor saying, "Jab we met." You know, आप समझ गए या मैं और बोलूं? You know? Did you understand? Please say yes or no. Please. And then we'll talk about statutory towns and municipal census towns rather. So what are statutory towns? These are towns designated by state governments. So state government has told that, okay, these are municipal, they have municipal corporation, they have municipalities, they have been designated by state government. Now census towns, they have been designated by census, not yet by state government. And so they don't have municipality. They're still run by Gram Panchayat. Please understand this. This is important. Most of the people, they don't know the difference between statutory town, migration opportunity of job creation. Very good. So census towns. What is happening in census town? They have been declared town by census because they satisfy these criteria. Minimum population 5,000 and population density 400% per square kilometer. At least 75% of male working population engaged in non-agricultural pursuit. So they satisfy these three criteria, and that's why they are towns according to census. But state have not yet classified them as towns. That's why they are not statutory towns, and that's why they're still run by Gram Panchayat. Once they become statutory towns, they will have municipalities, municipal corporations, etc. So hope you understood the basic difference between statutory towns and census towns. This is actually very important. So now urbanization, GS paper 1, GS mains paper 1. Remember these facts and figures, very important from both pre as well as mains perspective. You will use it in mains, and they can give you these figures and you have to remember the data. Total population, we don't need to remember. Just remember urbanization, 31%. And in 1951, less than 20%. These are some important facts and figures. Now your homework, in 1941 census, find out our degree of urbanization. So, and again, maybe in 2027, and there is a saying, or there is a finding that 2050, 2060, more than 50% population will be living in urban areas. So we should be ready for it. Cool. Now let's solve some question. With reference to census 2027, consider the following statement. The definition of an urban area will be revised to account for the rapid pace of urbanization. For comparability, the same definition of urban as used in census 2011 will be retained. A census town is defined solely on the basis of population size without considering workforce characteristics. So what do you think is the answer here? So Akriti has given the answer. Definition of urban area will be revised to account for rapid pace of urbanization. For comparability, same definition of urban as used in census 2011 will be retained. A census town is defined solely on the basis of population size without consider. Again, if you go back, you will realize census town has three criteria. One was population size, one is population density, and the third one is workforce. 75% male population engaged in non-agricultural activity. That means third is wrong. So you're left with A and C, two only, one only. Definition of an urban area will not be revised. It will be same. So the answer is A, two only, as stated first by Akriti, then Shaida, Mamta, and Rishi. Very good. The answer is A, two only. MCQ 6. Have a look at this particular question as per census 2011 data. And again, if you feel like I'm contributing anything to your knowledge base, like this video. Chapmandi's fast. As per census 2011 data, consider the following. 31% population live in urban areas. Proportion of India's urban population 1951 was less than 20%. We had just seen the facts and figures. There can be a scenario where you have not, you may forgot about the figures, but still give it a try. Akriti has given the answer. The answer is C. Both these options are correct. 31% population did live in urban areas. It is more now. And proportion of India's urban population was, yes, less than 20%. So the answer is C, both. Cool. So as stated by Akriti, Mamta, and Anandu. Now, MCQ 7. Which of the following conditions must be met for a village to be classified as a census town? Interesting question, good question. Now, these are the things which you have to understand. And people, Rishi, Anandu, Mamta, Akriti, and others, did you understand the basic difference between census town and statutory town? What separates census town from statutory town? What is the answer? Population of at least 5,000 person, population density of at least 400% per square kilometer, at least 75% of male working population engaged in non-agricultural activities. So Anandu, Rishi, Mamta, census towns are run by panchayats. They don't have municipal boards. Very good. So the answer is all three are correct. All these three conditions were we have read earlier. D. Now, again, page 10, Sunday's article, because today is holiday for Hindu. Supreme Court never said state should not fight Naxals. So he is Justice B. Oh my God, Sudarshan Reddy. So he is the VP nominee from the opposition party side, and he gave a verdict which was known as Salva Judum verdict. Why this article is important from exam perspective? GS3 internal security, Naxalism, and Salva Judum verdict of 2011. Very important. Who were Salva Judum? I have talked about it, I think 1 or 2 months back in Hindu analysis, Salva Judum. But this is an interesting article because it has some other terms also which are important from exam perspective. Lokayuktas and the Salva Judum case of 2011 is also important. So let's have a look at this particular article. And there are points and counterpoints which has been given. We are not going into the political intricacies of this particular article. We are focused on the important terms from UPSC perspective. Salva Judum judgment, then Lokayukta. He was earlier a Lokayukta. What is the difference between Lokpal and Lokayukta? Basic things, and then we'll have a discussion later on. So B. Sudesh Reddy, he said the Supreme Court never told the center not to fight Naxals. So Amit Shah sir, he's saying that this VP candidate, he is, maybe anti-Naxal or urban Naxal rather. He gave a judgment in 2011 where he told center not to fight Naxals. Now, we have to understand the whole scenario. What was the Salva Judum judgment? Who were these Salva Judum people? So they were tribal people who were fighting against Naxals on their own. civilian people. They were not military people. But then state started supporting them. That okay, you fight against these Naxals, we'll support you. And then in 2011, Supreme Court said that no, this Salva Judum thing is unconstitutional, and this whole protection of citizens thing is the responsibility of state. They cannot outsource their responsibility to a private entity, to tribal people who don't even know how to protect themselves, who are not properly trained, and this is not done. So this is not about, here Sudeshan Reddy is only saying that state cannot outsource his constitutional responsibility to protect citizens. You cannot just, these are very vulnerable people, Salva Judum people. They don't even have proper machinery and proper equipments to deal with these Naxal people. So this is so wrong. And that was this 2011 judgment. And that's how he's countering Home Minister Amit Shah sir. Cool. And this is the Salva Judum judgment. This is important from exam perspective. They have asked it in different exams. Who are Salva Judum people? Where were they active? So we have to understand this. And many of you already know it if you have watched my previous Hindu analysis. So arming civilians through Salva Judum was unconstitutional and abdication of state security. It's like Akriti Pandey is there in Lucknow. Some Naxal activity happened in Lucknow, although obviously it will not happen there. So I'm saying that Akriti, you're so good, you have six-pack abs, so go fight for me, fight for the state if I am the state. So this is wrong, and that's what the Salva Judum judgment was all about. Emphasize that only state has exclusive right to use force. Very good. Now, again, just before, again, you can see all these things. He also made and it was not like this Justice Reddy, sir. He only gave judgment against citing parties. He also criticized UPA government, who in a way is, advocating their name right now. So independence and judge, blah, blah, blah. You can see this. And he was a Goa Lokayukt. So Lokayukt is what? He's an ombudsman. Ombudsman is what? So currently we have this 130th constitutional amendment bill, which talks about, convicting, and even if PMCM are detained, they will lose their post. So even before this whole 130th constitutional amendment bill, we have Lokpal and Lokayukt concept. Lokpal at center, Lokayukt at state. Now this is your homework. Which is the first state in our country which appointed Lokayukta? So Lokayukta is, even if CM is involved in some corruption act, Lokayukta will, do the investigation, but their opinions are advisory in nature. It's not binding, and they will be appointed by governor based on a committee which will include CM. But again, if CM is found in malpractices, then the investigation will be done by Lokayukta. Same for Lokpal, and but this is not, this is not very homogeneous Lokayukta. In some states, CM is excluded from like investigation done by Lokayukta. In some states, they are part of Lokayukta. So in a way, Lokayukta power has been curtailed, and it's not synonymous, it's not homogeneous in every particular state. Mananiya Sri Yogi ji means no crime. Oh my God, Rishi. So yeah, Anandu said 1971 Maharashtra. So hope you can understand what are the different terms which are involved in this article. We'll have a detailed discussion on Lokpal, Lokayukt, because they're very important from polity perspective, GS means paper 2, also ethics perspective. Ombudsman. Cool. So yeah, have a look at this particular question. Supreme Court in its 2011 judgment on Salva Judum held that state cannot abdicate its constitutional responsibility of providing security by outsourcing it to private armed groups. Civilians cannot be armed and deployed as special police officers to fight Maoists. State alone has the exclusive right to use force. State cannot abdicate its constitutional responsibility of providing security. Civilians cannot be armed and deployed as special police officer to fight Maoists. State alone has the exclusive right to use force. All the statements are correct. State alone has the exclusive right to use force. If you go back, Salva Judum judgment, which I told you, you cannot give, you cannot tell Salva Judum people that you fight against Maoists, we support you. No, they're not properly trained, cannot abdicate, and all the statements are correct. The answer is D, 1, 2, and 3. In fact, we have talked about Salva Judum in the previous Hindu analysis also. You can just write Salva Judum, my name, Hindu analysis. You will get that video. I think so. So we'll have a discussion again. But why, Mamta and Rishi, why did you excluded third statement? What did you find wrong there? Who apart from state can use force when it comes to dealing with unconstitutional forces? You know? So again, don't follow herd mentality. I can understand. Uh, what is happening here, but what is the rationale for you people? Why did you exclude third? I have to be somewhat strict sometimes, because you people have to crack UPSC CSE. So what is the justification for you people excluding third statement? Let's see this MCQ 9. Hope Rishi and Manta, you are understanding what I am discussing here. If you feel like some statement is wrong, why? Exactly. So again, with reference to Salva Judum, consider the following statement. It began as a tribal movement in Chhattisgarh to counter Maoist influence. It was fully voluntary and had no state support. Always use option elimination. It will help you a lot. The Supreme Court declared it unconstitutional in 2011. So Anandu has given the answer. Rishi has given the answer. Akriti has given the answer. So it began as a tribal movement. Let's say we are confused. It was fully voluntary, had no state support. This is wrong. We just discussed. State allowed it. State Chhattisgarh government, they were like, we are giving you support. And that's why Supreme Court felt like, no, we have to intervene. So second is wrong. If you just eliminate second, you will get the answer C1 and 3 only. Cool. As stated by Anandu, Rishi, Akriti, and Mamta. Again, page number 14, GST structure news. GST has been in news multiple number of times. Why I've taken this article is because we have talked about GST a lot. Most of the people feel like GST tax bracket is 5, 12, 18, 28, right? But and 0% is there. But most of us don't know that there is some tax slab like 0.25%, 3%, although very limited number of items are there, but they are there. So it's not only confined to 5, 12, 18, and 28%. There is 0.25%, 3%. However small, the number of goods are there in that particular category. Now, government, as we have discussed earlier, so this is not a new news for us. Government wants to concentrate most goods in 5 and 18% tax slab. 12% goods maximum will go to 5%, 28% will go to 18%. But even then, there will be 40%. So it's not like most means most. It's not like these will be the only two, but these will be the two which will be like most of the goods and services will be going into these two slabs, and very few will be there in 40% or maybe lesser than 5%. We don't know. Let's see how government comes up with this. So why this article I have taken? Just to remind you that 5, 12, 18, 28 is fine, but there are even some goods in 0.25 and 3%. Now your homework is find out those goods. Find out those goods which are there in this 0.25% and 3%. You can see here why precious metals, diamonds, jewelry are less than 1%. Does it make any sense? So again, sometimes when you see these taxation structure, you will feel like, oh my god, what is happening here? So again, we will leave it to government and how they are taxing different stuff. You can have a look at this. We have talked about GUM, group of ministers. These are group of state ministers. In the previous Hindu analysis, we have talked about GST Council, how it needs 75% votes for anything to pass. Center has 33% vote. States have 67% votes. They both have to come together. Only then a certain thing will pass. So these things we have discussed. GST, if you see UPSC mains question, and this is again your homework, find out all UPSC mains question which has been asked on GST. You will realize that is actually a big number. So again, there will be a revenue loss when most of these goods, from 12% will be going to 5%, and from 28 will be going to 18%. So there will be a revenue loss. But center is not that worried because they have taken 2.69 lakh crore from RBI recently. So they have a cushion, and this revenue loss will be taken care of. How correct it is, this is a different issue altogether. RBI dividend transfer, we'll have a discussion about it later on also, how this dividend transfer took place and all these things. So, but yes, for now, because of this, there is a cushion and we do not need to worry too much about it. Or maybe center do not need to worry too much about the loss, so to say. Cool. So again, we'll talk about all these things. GST will keep on coming and you will keep on hearing about it. Have a look at this particular question. Which one of the following correctly distinguishes statutory town from census town? Chapandi is fast. Statutory towns identified by sin. Have a look at this. We have discussed about it. Anandu has given the answer of this particular question. And question number 10. Then have a look at MCQ 11. Headquarters of African Union is located in. Anand is such a good guy. Where is the headquarters of African Union? Today was holiday for Hindu. Even then, we are doing Hindu analysis. See how serious we are. Oh my God. This is actually good only. Tell me one thing. Anandu, Mamta, Akriti, Rishi, and others. Did you know today was holiday for Hindu? Chipundis? So headquarter of African Union. Where is it located? Oh my God. So again, I will share the answer of 10 and 11 tomorrow. And like, share, subscribe. You have to spread the word. 1 year we have. After that, if things don't go to plan, I have to join some other institution. So don't want to do that. I just want to do my own thing. Oh my God. Okay. This is my Telegram channel, Fun Study with Shubh. Although I'm not able to do anything right now on this Telegram channel because there is so much work. Everything has to be done by me. This is like an entrepreneurship thing for me, and I'm loving it. You know. So yeah, and you can share your score out of 9 questions. How many you got correct in the comment section, chat section. If you want Hindu analysis PDF, I've already told you. If you want it for a particular day, you can get it for 9 per day. If you want it for a full month, 199 per month. I think you know the process, you know the drill. Personalized mentorship program, again, I have told you 4999, and the time period is till the time you crack UPSC, CSE. 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, whatever it is time, but sooner the better, right? Why do you want to make it a 5-year plan? And Hindu analysis PDF is included here in this mentorship, so you don't need to pay separately for Hindu analysis PDF. That is covered in mentorship program. Okay, sir. Oh, and you can also donate, so that will also help. And that's it from me, sir and ma'am. Very good, Akriti. Very good, Rishi and others. If you have any queries, any doubts, you can ask it. Otherwise, I'll be go Goa gone. Chalo, bye bye. So again, keep the doubts. If you have ever any doubts, you can say, sir, I have a doubt. Please wait, or please wait. Just write wait. I will wait. But I think there is no doubt for